hello everybody, and welcome to today's lighting critique. I am Mike without a face. My camera's not working, so we're just going to go through these without showing faces. We're in incognito mode today, and we've got a few of us joining live. Ronald, Miguel, Marlon, and Andre are joining with us. So we will start with, Marlon, you're here. Let's see. Miguel, we've got your project as well. And if anybody else has anything to show, just let me know as we're going through this. But we will, I'll start. We'll start here with Marlon. So Marlon, do you want to talk about what's been updated since the last time we took a look at this?
Yeah, so I added some more spec. I went back in and I did a quick spec pass in Maya and added that to the buildings in the shadow a bit and kind of got a gradation of spec coming down from the top.
Cool.
You can see that there. He talked about the wheel sliding issue. I fixed that with radial blur in comp.
Oh, nice.
Because it takes a week for the scene to render, right?
Yeah, that's why when you posted it again, I was like, dude, how did you, what are you using?
Sorry?
I said, when you posted this so quickly, I was like, dude, what software are you using to render? Because there's no way this rendered that quickly, so that's good. Okay, cool.
Well, I have a very, very powerful computer for one thing. And comp.
Yeah. And that's, it's actually
So all I could do in that time is basically bang out a spec pass is all I could do. Because some of the other things you recommended would cause me to re-render. Like you wanted me to put windshield wipers on windshield wiper like dirt, I guess, on the windshield. That would cause a re-render. You wanted the sign in the back there where your eyes go up to in the very last frame. You wanted me to get rid of the words. I did that in the actual. I did do it in the 3D software, but I couldn't re-render it because once this is approved, because I want to use this for my demo reel like next week, basically.
Oh yeah.
So my plan is because I signed up for the Make Me a Demo Reel thing with with Jasmine.
Yeah.
So I'm just really waiting for this, and then my rest of my work will go in. So my plan is to re-render this at full HD, but do it on a render farm. So I just kind of want to make sure it's up to that level.
Sure.
And then kick it off from there. So in comp, what I did was I got the sign to flash. You can see there it's now flashing. I added the spec pass. I was able to do that. I did the little things such as got motion blur on the wheel, so it makes it look like the wheel is really spinning. I took down the saturation on the tree. You said to take that down because your eyes kind of went to that.
Yeah.
It was just those little things. There wasn't any big major thing that you
That's great.
said before.
That's great, and I can see there's like a little bit more of a rack focus here at the end too. That's looking good.
Yeah.
I think it's all looking really good. I think so what you were describing in terms of like this takes a week to render. I needed it for my demo reel next week. Like all of these things happen in the industry too. Like this is a common thing. So definitely like take what you have or take what you're able to get here and put that on your demo reel, and then like in the background, we'll work on another iteration, and then we can swap it out later. Because the stuff that we're talking about, wouldn't necessarily stop you from getting like an interview or like people being impressed with your work or anything. It's just adding that last like little a couple extra sprinkles on top. But the way that I generally used to handle the situation of like, because we would have deadlines at the end of the week, and it would be like Thursday, and I get some note from the art director about like something that would trigger a re-render. So what we would do is we would often just be like for something like the sign at the end, we would go and be like, just render out the last frame, and then and then in rounds or in reviews we'd just be like, hey, can you just go to the last frame for me, please? And you can step back and step forward and step back, and you basically would just like do that, and it would show the sign updating, and like we would. I
get it. I almost did it.
Yeah.
The truth is, if I wasn't going to re-render, I would have done it. I would have done a paint out. Paint out on it. Right? I would have done it, but since I know that I had to re-render in HD, I was like, okay, just leave it for the HD render.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just get
that's
it thing.
Fair.
But if I had, I would have done that. I would have done that trick too. just replace the sign itself.
Yeah, the only, like everything else is looking like you hit the notes really well. I think everything's looking really good. One thing, the one thing that's standing out that I would say, and this could just be like a minor tweak, is like, so the glow of this light inside the kiosk, it's like there's a bit of a disconnect because it looks really bright up here, but then I'm not really seeing the effects of it too much. So I would either, just because it's easier, I would consider, just like pull back on the glow a little bit.
Yeah, I can do that. I mean, that's a separate pass. So
yeah.
It's an emission pass, so I can just pull it back.
Yeah, I would just pull it.
It's the daytime. I thought so too. It's the daytime anyway. You wouldn't really see.
Yeah, you may even just want to turn it off. That's a fair point too. Like, if it was, because it's either it's one of those things with like emissive materials, light sources, things like that. They need to either really be on or just be all the way off. Like anytime in the middle, it just kind of looks muddied. So yeah, I would just turn it off. And then the last thing that I have for this, I think for your demo, I'm just trying to, because I was watching it in real time, is there is like this chain is totally fine and like technically the right and like, but it just like as it flashes past the camera, it's like it just kind of reads as just like a flat, like a bright bit. I would just, if you have like a crypto mat or something, I would just tone that down a little bit.
Yeah, I have crypto mats.
Cool. Yeah,
that's the best thing ever. Crypto.
Oh my god, saved my literally saved my life. It's all good. All right, cool.
Yeah, I can pull it out. I have the crypto mat for it. So yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, I think that's it. Anybody else see anything? Anybody else got any notes or thoughts? Overall, it looks really good.
No, it looks really good.
The thing I love about this is like I've watched, I'm looping it here, but like I've watched it play through like 100 times, and every time I'm noticing other little details and like like the way that the sign, the street light glows and everything. It's just there's a lot of attention to detail in this shot. It's like a lot of nuance.
The thing with this shot too, as I said, I know that you've probably seen it because I've seen it in other people's demo reels too.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, as a lighting person, it's hard to get animated shots. So when you find something that you can light animated wise, I kind of want to go for it. So that's why I was wondering too, would that work against me, showing something that other people have seen different versions of?
No.
That's why I put so much detail into it, so kind of like differentiate it between ones I've seen before.
No, I think in your case it kind of acted as your superpower because it like forced you. Because that's the question you should be asking yourself in every shot that you light, especially when it's for your demo reel to get a job. It's like, how do I distinguish myself from everybody else? And it's like, normally with like a normal shot, you'd be like, oh, the shot's different, that's enough. But like in this one, you're like, no, I need to push it, because this is the best version of the shot that I've seen. Like, and I think that for you see it a lot like in the Unreal marketplace. There's a handful of scenes if people are doing real-time lighting, you kind of see those over and over again, and it's fine. Like we all, like I totally get it. So I don't take anyone like no, we're all in that position, but the key is like it's setting an even benchmark for because if you've seen the shot before, you kind of what it looks like, and if you, like it just makes your job a little bit tougher. So no shade or no problem at all with using animation that's been done before.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right, cool. Let's hop over into Miguel's. Hi, Miguel. How you doing today?
Good. How about yourself?
Good, thank you. All right, cool. So the one thing I wanted to address out of the gate was you talked about like the lines and kind of like the graphic stylized look of this.
Yes.
In your reference. So the last film that I worked on at Blue Sky was called Nimona, and it's going to be released I think in September by it was picked up by another studio, and it was a very stylized looking thing, and the way that we did it, or the way that we kind of approached it was. You can definitely do it. Like RenderMan allows you to create like custom shaders that kind of give you this like stylized toon type shader look, but really the way that you want to do a look like this is you want to do a bunch of render passes or AOVs. You would like to do like a diffuse, a spec, a blah 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 blah, and then you kind of you need to process all of those individually and then layer them back together in the comp. So it's actually like. It's pretty hard. Like to get these, that's kind of lineage, you would need to separate out the passes, and then create something where you can get like an edge detect on them and make a little black outline around them. So, I mean, if you want to go for it, go for it. I think it's awesome. But like, just know that that the way that it's built is not usually in the renderer. It's usually like taking the individual components from the render and using those in a composite to kind of build them up a different way. So just a heads up on that.
Okay.
All right, cool. All right, great. But this is I love the color scheme of this. Like it's actually it's a really nice, like the purple candle is actually really cool. And I love the kind of cyan colors of the moonlight and kind of bringing it in that way. So one of the things that's nice about this reference imagery is that it really does a good job of separating the areas where those light values come in and allows a little bit of darkness between them. Like there's a very kind of strict line kind of here that separates the cyan colors in this region with the magenta colors over there, or the kind of purples. And so I think that might be something that we can kind of pull from this, is that like I think that for yours, we've got this kind of area coming in here where the cyans are coming, and then just allow them to kind of die down a little bit here, like kind of flank them off so maybe this area gets a little bit darker, and then this back and everything back here is kind of influenced more by that magenta light. If I were you, just to simplify the composition a little bit, I would consider plugging up this window, or figuring out a way to kind of, so that way you can kind of, like I'm putting my hand over it, that way it kind of creates a more specific, like the way that the reference is, there's a specific, like it really kind of creates a singular point of focus of the light coming in, and it'll allow us to kind of focus in over there, and then that will create more darkness back here, which will allow this light to have more of an impact. Okay.
I was agreeing with you. I was looking at it. Okay.
Cool. And then the other thing that you really want to kind of lean into is, with this scene, there's like a lot of props in here. Make sure to lean into some of the darkness. Like I would allow some of the areas in here, and probably back over here, maybe to get a little bit darker, maybe up around the top too, just to kind of really like allow us to focus in on the areas with the most impact. And yeah, I think, yeah, because then we can focus on and then a little bit more darkness over here, because like right now that light is coming in at a low enough angle where it's kind of hitting all this, and the door itself being white, we might want to change that to the wood color as well, just to kind of allow that to, because again, we really just want to focus here and then right in here as well, and kind of let everything else just be toned down. I love you're getting some really nice specular highlights on these wood grains coming across that way. I think that looks really nice. But yeah, but even though like the diffuse, like even though the overall darkness will come down, like the diffuse value will come down, you'll still get those because those are coming from the purple light. Now, one thing about the actually both the purple light and the exterior light, and this is coming back to the reference a little bit, is they are like the approach to them is much more stylized, and that like if it was, if there was this much light coming in from the outside, it would be much brighter. And like it's odd in a photographic image to kind of see the like when a light bulb is turned on, usually it's like blown out, overexposed. So it's odd to just kind of see like the exact light bulb there. So I would say it's either we gotta like start pushing that stylized look a little bit, or I would just make those a little bit brighter.
Okay.
And then up to you. Again, based on the reference, there's no depth of field or anything. It just would help if like this plane was out of focus a little bit. But if that's again, if you're going for the stylized thing, just something to be aware of there. Like you've done a really good job of toning it down and just picking up these like highlights on it. But just know that. And then you can also, just thinking compositionally, I'm wondering if there isn't value in shifting that over. And then there's some props here in the foreground. Maybe using those to kind of fill out this space a little bit too. But just kind of create a little more balance in there.
Oh yeah, there were some violins there, I think.
Yeah, like violins, and there's like I think there's more. Did you move these? Because I think these were in the foreground. Am I right?
There's some there, and then there's some also in the foreground.
Got it. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, but yeah, no, this is I love. Like I said, I love the color scheme. I really want to lean into that. I love the overall look. Just know that the that stylized look, man, it could be when it's done well, it looks great. But it just know that it's very difficult to achieve straight out of the render.
Okay. I'll go for it. See how it comes up with it. If not, then let's see what else. If it's a little too far above what I can do.
Can I just say one thing? Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I think for this shot here too, since you have the glass where the telescope is on screen left, you can maybe go for doing something with the reflection in the glass as well. Would make it look cool to bring more to the scene.
There is no glass there. It's hollow.
Is it really?
Yeah.
It's all. Oh, I mean, theoretically there should be glass there, right? So
Yeah, theoretically
maybe you could do something with that.
Yeah. I'll put something there. See how it looked like and what I can do with it.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Cool. Yeah, you're very welcome. All right. Is there anybody else on live that has an image they want to look at? If not, I want to hop over into Ariana's and Gisela's. I'll start with Gissela here. I think so. A really nice update. I like the warmth on his face looks a lot better. Let's see. Actually, let me pull up the old version of that so you can see the update. So a little bit of warmth on his face is helping out. It's like because before he's looking a little bit steely. Also, the brighter value, nice and crisp now. This is looking good. I think I'm just gonna play with the values of him a little bit. So I think overall he's looking really good. I just wonder if add a little bit more contrast to him and lifting up like kind of those mid-tones and then just make him just a little bit warmer. This might be a little bit too much. Let me pull back the saturation just a touch. And then I think something. Yeah, so basically take what you have and then push it like a level further. Maybe that might be a little too strong, but just a little bit more. And then some specific things would be to flatten this down. The eyes look good. I love the dings that you've got in there. I would watch out for these. Like there's these like other little specular highlights in there. I would just even if you have to like paint those out in Photoshop or something, I would take those away. And then I would also for the eye dings themselves, they're a little bit different in size. So I would just kind of narrow them in a little bit. Just so sorry, it's gonna look janky, but. Yeah, it's real bad, but basically, I think that I would just kind of make them a little bit more uniform, and the reason why I flatten this is that I think there's an opportunity here to add a little bit more diffusion to the character himself. Let's see, merge those layers. Yeah, let's just go and flatten this, and then I can grab the whole thing, copy it. Just create a little bit of blur to it overall. And then use this to screen back on top. I talk about this in one of the lectures. You gotta do this in Nuke or Photoshop, but basically and just to get a little bit more softness and diffusion on him. And the background already has it a little bit, so we'll take that away from the background. Just keep it on the character himself. Actually, now that I see that, I want to add a little more contrast to that. Yeah, something maybe more along this lines than cleaning up the eyes. For the eye color, they're falling a little bit in the yellow side. I would just darken those up a little bit. Let me go ahead and flatten this down again. Just change the eye color. And then I think, yeah, you're really kind of narrowing them in there. Contrast a little bit high there. Nope. I'll just do it the old-fashioned way. Image adjustments, brightness, contrast. Oh, there isn't a hotkey for it. That's fine. Yeah, just to get the eyes a little bit darker. Sorry, that was a long way around to get to that point, but it doesn't even look that good. But yeah, get the iris color to be a little bit darker. But I think everything else is looking good. And then there's a little bit of speck on the face, but I would do. I like to do a pass at him where there's basically, and I think I have this in my tutorial, where you basically turn him to metal, and then have. And then just like sprinkle in some specular highlights. I think having it on the key side would help him out a little bit, like, and also in kind of the wrinkles a little bit along his head. All right. Anybody else got anything for this one?
One thing only that bothers me a little is that on his left eye, on the right side of the screen, the white of the eye looks a bit too bright for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it like. Is, especially with a light coming straight from behind him, I don't think it would be that bright. That's the only thing that jumps at me.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I think it's the side away from the light is too filled. The key fill ratio should be higher.
Yeah.
So darker for that eye, just as Andre said. And also, you could probably benefit from some light wrap as well on the side towards the key, towards the sun.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good call. Yeah, so just getting a little bit of a edge blur light wrap effect coming around here. Yeah, good call on that.
Yeah. Sorry, to help with the specular in the wrinkles, you could probably do a curvature. This is Maya, right? You could probably do a curvature. Pass in there.
Yeah.
A curvature and a concave pass, and then you can then sprinkle it in with that.
Yeah, that's a good idea too. That's good. And then I like that. Yeah, definitely. Anytime you have that that's a good call. Anytime you have that backlighting coming in and creating like this bright edge, you really want to get some light wrap going on in there. Good one. All right, cool. All right, let's hop back over into Ariana. So again, this is a ref from this. We've got this little guy coming in here. So again, I saw your thing about the ground plane. I'm not sure why that's not showing up, but yeah, just throw one in there. And then that ground plane will allow you to create some more bounce light in there. I love the position of the light. I think that's actually working out really well. I would just increase the radius to get more softness here, and then to match up to this reference. Yeah, the key to fill is a little bit higher. So it's, you're looking at the shadow areas in here. You want to kind of match up that value. And again, it starts with the ground plane bouncing up on there. It looks like I can't tell if it's on the same light, but it looks like there's a little bit of a hard shadow there too. But so just be mindful of your, it actually looks like there probably is a second light there. There's probably a light kind of coming in up here and then one kind of coming in down there. I can see it in the speck of the eyes. Yeah. And I think that would be a really good place to go from there. Now this one's nice in that we're really able to focus in on the character because the background's really low contrast and pretty dark and blurry. So we're really able to center in here. And then with any Batman representations, it's always funny. Like you always just end up focusing around their mouth because the suit is so dark and like it's pretty matte. Like there is a specular highlight, but it's nice and flat. And the details of the skin tones like really kind of pop out. Also, the eyes kind of come through too. So I think, I mean, for me, it's always the more successful Batman representations is when you can get the focus on the eyes and away from just like the mouth and chin of it. So I think that like that in yours here, we can really kind of do that by the shape of the face and allowing this to kind of go dark, and it really allows to get the centralized look on the eyes. So one of the things that we mentioned in Gissela's last iteration was this idea of when we were looking at a reference, there's always like there's the lighting that you see in the scene, and then there's like if you ever do any like lighting on set, you know that there's some tricks that come in, like bounce cards and extra lights that come in. So I think for you, one of the things you might want to try is you got the light kind of coming in here. You're going to have the ground plane bouncing light back up and in. There might be an opportunity too, and you can play around with it to just. Sometimes I like to just put a little soft little spotlight like right on the character's face where I kind of want the audience to zero in on. And I think for you, it might even be just like right around the eyes here too, because I think the eyes really tell the story of this bunny of, you know, like the what I call the eye patch. I don't know if it's technically an eye patch, but the X eye on this really just kind of allow you to focus in there. So yeah, and then don't forget, like as you're building out the mood of this, if you want to keep it black and white, that's totally cool. But adding, like this one has, it's pretty low contrast, or I'm sorry, low saturation, but not quite pure black and white. So you can sprinkle in some color in your lights too if you want to do that. It seems like always the Batman Metropolis or Gotham, he lives in Gotham. It's always very like cool blues and grays there. So you could leverage that as well. All right, cool. I think that is it for today, everybody. Any last things before we break for the weekend? All right. Have a great weekend, everybody. I will get my camera issues resolved here, and my restarting my computer didn't work, so we will try that again. All right. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you all back again on Tuesday. We'll do another video critique.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Be good, everybody. Have a good one.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.